Imagine this. You've just been told to lead an entire nation to conquer a hostile land. That is the massive challenge facing Joshua in this incredible biblical story. We're about to dive into a tale of impossible battles, unwavering faith, and the huge weight of a promise, all while a new leader tries to find a home for his people.
So boom, it all starts with these words. I mean, can you imagine? Moses, the legend who led them for 40 years, is gone. And now all of that responsibility falls on his assistant, Joshua. This isn't just some command from God. It's the beginning of a whole new, and honestly, pretty scary era.
So this first part of the story is all about that transition. And it raises a huge question. How in the world does anyone step into the impossibly large shoes left by a figure like Moses? Well, the answer isn't exactly what you might expect.
Check out how God establishes Joshua's leadership here. It's got nothing to do with Joshua's resume, but everything to do with this rock-solid three-part promise. First, the land, it's a done deal. Second, victory, totally assured. And third, and this is the big one, God's own presence is going to be with him. This right here is the foundation for everything that's about to happen.
Okay, so a divine commission is one thing, but you still need the people to buy in, right? And boy, do they ever. They pledge their complete loyalty to Joshua. And listen to this, they echo the exact same command God gave him, be strong and of good courage. The torch has officially been passed.
All right, with leadership all sorted out, the nation gets ready for the conquest. But hold on, before the first spear is even thrown, they have to take some really critical first steps. And not just walking into the land, but taking steps spiritually to show where their faith is at. Man, this is a packed couple of weeks. First, a spy mission to Jericho finds out that their enemies are already terrified of them. Then, in this amazing echo of the Red Sea crossing, the whole nation just walks across a flooded Jordan River on dry land. They set up memorial stones so nobody ever forgets, and then they hit pause on the entire military campaign to renew their covenant with God. See, this isn't just an invasion, it's a sacred act.
And then, this happened. Right before the attack on Jericho, Joshua has this mysterious and super powerful encounter. He asks the figure, "Are you for us or for our adversaries?" And the answer he gets is basically, "Neither. I'm in charge here." It's this powerful reminder to Joshua and to all of us that this is God's battle and it's going to be fought on his terms.
This brings us to the real heart of the conquest story, and it's shown brilliantly through the contrast of the first two battles, one against the massive fortress of Jericho and the other against the tiny town of Ai.
So the battle plan for Jericho is, from any military perspective, completely insane. No siege engines, no battering rams, nope. Just marching, blowing some trumpets, and being quiet, all followed by a big shout. It's a strategy that's basically designed to be a 100% test of their obedience and faith in God's power, not their own.
And the result? It's just as miraculous as the plan was strange. They follow the instructions perfectly, and the walls, the main defense of this powerful city, they just collapse. It's a jaw-dropping victory that came from nothing but complete obedience.
Coming off an incredible high like that, you'd think they were unstoppable. They turn their attention to Ai, a much smaller town. Seems like it'll be a piece of cake. But in a totally shocking turn of events, the Israelites get routed. They're defeated, chased away, their hearts just melted and became like water. So what went wrong?
This contrast right here, this is the central theme of the entire book. Look at Jericho, a strong enemy, but they followed God's bizarre plan and won. Now look at Ai, a weak enemy, but they relied on their own strategy and got crushed. And the reason for the failure is the key. One guy, Achan, had secretly disobeyed a direct command. His one act of breaking the covenant totally undermined the entire nation.
So once that hidden sin was dealt with, the tide of the battle turned again. You could say Israel learned its lesson, and now the story zooms out from just these two cities to the massive campaigns that would secure the rest of the land. With their covenant relationship restored, Israel goes back and successfully takes Ai. And that victory kicks off a whole series of major campaigns, first against a coalition of kings down south, and then against another huge group of kings up in the north. During that southern campaign, we get one of the most astonishing moments in the entire story. In the middle of a huge battle, Joshua prays for the impossible, for the sun and moon to just stop, to stand still, so they'd have more daylight to finish the fight. And the text says it happened. That's probably the ultimate sign that God himself was fighting for Israel. After all the battles and all the campaigns, this number is the final tally. 31. That's the total number of Canaanite kings defeated by Joshua and the Israelites west of the Jordan River. It's just a stark, powerful summary of the sheer scale and success of the whole conquest.
But, conquering the land was only half the mission. Now came the arguably even more complicated job, dividing it all up fairly and figuring out how to live in it as a nation.
A huge section of the book is actually dedicated to this process. With the major fighting over, Joshua oversees this very detailed work of giving specific territories to each of the tribes of Israel. The war wasn't just for its own sake. It was all about giving every family a home, fulfilling that promise made generations and generations ago.
And this brings us to Joshua's final days. He's gathered the whole nation. The battles are won, the land is divided, he's successfully completed his mission. So, what does he say to them now? What is the final crucial challenge he leaves them with?
It all comes down to this. In his farewell speech, Joshua lays out the one choice that will define their entire future. He reminds them of their history, of everything God has done for them, and then he issues this iconic challenge. The land is theirs, sure, but their loyalty, that's still a choice. And he makes his own commitment crystal clear.
And that really is the central question of the book of Joshua, isn't it? The physical land was won through obedience and divine power, but holding on to the spiritual inheritance, staying faithful in a land full of temptation, well, that would be the real, ongoing challenge, not just for them, but for every single generation to follow.